see the way they hate. And I know better than to listen to the people who are calling us slaves. I can feel the sunlight shining.
Well, good morning, everyone. My name's Brian, and today is Wednesday, July 10th, 2024, and this is episode 738 of the Lots Project podcast, and it's titled Dialing It Back. I'll be chatting about ransomware, Bitcoin, and some old school tech. It just might not be what you think. First, let's grab a cup of coffee, head on over into the live chat, see who's hanging out in the coffee crew, and hang out for about an hour. Good morning. Good morning. How is everyone doing today? See Pips in early, 3:24 a.m. He says, so the Red Bull YouTube channel has the world record attempt at a tightrope walk. Let me just throw this out there. I don't know. I haven't seen this. I haven't watched it at all. But is a Walenda, last name Walenda? Are they trying to make that record attempt, or is it someone new? You guys ever heard of the flying Walendas? I believe they tightroped over Niagara Falls and some other places. Maybe Rich Stadium where the Bills played, I believe. Maybe over the end zone. I'm not really sure. Just curious. Same family still doing that tightroping thing. Digger, good morning. How we doing? How is retirement treating you? I hope you're doing well. Mike's Homestead, good morning. Good morning. How's it going? Mike's Homestead says his ad today was sling.com so I can get all the election news for the best price. You're supposed to pay for that shit? Oh, man. They can charge for anything, I guess, can't they? They can charge for anything. Anyway, what's in the cup this morning? I got Brian's Blend rolling again today. Brian's Blend is fantastic, all-day drinker. He worked long and hard on this to come up with his signature blend of coffee, and he nailed it. I think anybody could drink this. Anybody that likes a light roast, a dark roast, in between, you don't know, you're just trying to figure it out. You're new to premium coffee, you're new to air roasted coffee, you're new to small batch coffee. Any of it, I think Brian's Blend would fit the bill and help you fit the bill and help you get adjusted to that. Sorry, I was checking the comments there for a second. Yeah, Brian's Blend is fantastic. He also has a wide range of other blends over there. So if you already know what you like and you know what you like, you're experienced and have figured out your flavor profile on coffee, you're able to go right there and order it up. He can assist you. All you have to do is send him a message or let him send you what he thinks you would like. Give him a little information about you, where you live, where you grow up, maybe anything about your taste preference, and he can come up with something for you. Foodforestfarms.com is a fantastic place to find coffee, small micro batch roasted coffee on a clean Airstream roaster, done by a real human being that puts his heart and soul into every batch. Grab some today. Foodforestfarms.com. LOTS10, LOTS10, coupon code to get you 10% off. That's a one-time coupon, LOTS10, LOTS for 10, LOTS10 for 10% off, and forever and ever and ever, LOTS5 will get you 5% off anything on the Food Forest Farms website. Good morning over on the vertical stream. You look like a military dude. Yeah, not so much. Probably not a military dude, and somebody's asking English or Spanish. Como se llama? That's about all I know. Donde es el baño? Good morning, Jamie. Off-Grid Pig. Thanks for stopping in. And Digger says he got Kenny Moto for his ad. Gotcha. Oh man, the coffee is definitely needed today. Name of a car for an edit. Thanks for the sub. I appreciate it. Canadian Farmstead looks French to me. Oh, oui. Ooh, whoever moves first is gay. Wow. That vertical feed, guys, that definitely keeps it interesting over there. I appreciate all the folks over there. If you hit that like and the subscribe and the shorts feed, I'd really appreciate it. Anyway, so I stuck around home yesterday. Stuck around the trailer. I had just a pile of videos to edit up and get posted up on Amazon. Hey, John Trejo, how's it going? Viewing from Ohio. Thanks for stopping. Hit that share. Hit the like. Oh, wow, a shoe queen. Hey, keep it in your pants. K-Bonk, good morning. How's it going? And Canadian Farmstead popping over on the main feed. So I stuck around home. I did a shitload of videos and got them uploaded to Amazon. Got them kind of got caught up on the backlog of stuff that I had recorded and hadn't edited. Top Hat asked if I picked a car. I don't drive a car. I drive a truck. Sorry, I don't prefer small vehicles. Sorry. So I didn't get a lot of I guess downtime. A lot of my show topics, a lot of my show prep or ideas I want to talk about and things come while I'm out working on Tim's property, or if I'm hanging out with Corey or stuff on the weekend. And I just kind of rolled through the day plugging away on videos. Good morning, Chris Dixon. Morning, Kayak and QuickBooks. If we're still doing that, audio is old, radio sounding. Did my mic flip off? Let me make sure everything's right. Thanks, Chris. Every once in a while, the things gets all wonky, and let me make sure. Yeah, would you look at that? For the first time in a long time, mic got changed. Test 1 2. Is that better, guys? Did that clear that up? Canadian Farmstead says bless you, Corey and Chris Dixon. Oh, did that clear up the audio at all? Did that change things? Somehow the audio got changed to the computer mic again. It happens like every couple months. I don't know what the hell is going on with it, but thanks for saying something. I appreciate that, because I don't know. It's not on the main screen. I wish it was there when I logged in and it was like bam in your face. It's just a camera. But yeah, thanks, Chris, for bringing that up. Any day that it sounds like shit, please let me know. Yeah. Anyway. Lonely Scary over on the vertical feed says black people rock. I'm so confused. I'm so confused. Canadian Pharmacist says that happens when the government has turned on your mic to spy on you. Go ahead. They can spy on me all they want. Anyway, so I was doing videos all day, and I just kind of zone out and do them. I gotta go through a bunch of I'm obviously editing the video, and then I go through and make the listing and all of that, upload them to Amazon. And it's a lot of mundane repetitious stuff, so I don't get a lot of thinking done like I do when I'm out whacking away at blackberries or cutting trees down or weeding or working on that property or anything like that. I get a lot more thinking done. So I just kind of checked out all day, and last night I was sitting around. Corey and I went out and got Mexican, and then we came home and we were watching some more Chicago Fire. Hello, Gary, you Daisy, how we doing? Hit that like and subscribe over there on that vertical feed. Appreciate you being here. And so we came home. We're watching some Chicago Fire. Canadian Farm Citizen, I hope the government likes weenus and triginus. Triginus, I love it. So we were watching Chicago Fire, and a show topic just like came and hit me right in the face, and it actually came from the show. It was interesting. It was the episode started up, and they were having problems, and I know this is a fictional show, but they do pull a lot from reality. We just got through like all the COVID shit. I had to look up the year. Off-grid Pink says, a good way to think and gather your thoughts, helping a neighbor dig a pond. You're still digging that thing? Why didn't your buddy finish it out for you with that excavator? I mean, if you needed it bigger, you could have scratched out a little bit more. I mean, he was already there. Anyway, I had to look up the episode number or season number and episode number to find out what year it was, because I was curious. They kind of went through the COVID thing. They went through the mask thing a little bit. They dropped some social distancing and the buzzwords and stuff like that off and on for a few episodes, but it never got really over the top. Not as much as I would have thought it would have. I would have expected it to get being mainstream TV, being mainstream. I would have thought that it would have gone really sideways. They never had masks on in the firehouse or anything like that, so it didn't get too bad. And now we're off into 2021, pushing into 2022. So if I recall, that is kind of over the hump of the huge public push. I believe the problem is I didn't participate. I participated as little as possible. So my timeline is off, but I'm pretty sure as we were rolling in now, the stuff we're watching right now is like from October or November 2021, moving into 2022. So I feel like that was over the peak. Could be wrong. Could still get worse. I'm not sure. But anyway, we continue to watch because it didn't get that bad. We were able to ignore it, and the storyline and things like that didn't really revolve around any of the vid stuff. So that was good. But anyway, the episode started out that their dispatch system was kind of wonky. And I was like, oh, what's going on here? Just being interested in this and that. And all of a sudden they're like talking about someone with ransomware. And I heard ransomware and my ears just perked up. And I'm like, huh? What's going on here? Someone with ransomware infected the Chicago 911 system and the camera system and all of that shit that they have there, and was holding them for a deposit. And I just thought about it. I'm like, oh, where's this gonna go? And they said they're not gonna deal with cyber terrorists and all this shit. They're gonna have to figure it out. And they're not gonna pay the ransom. And the episode went on, and it actually spurred my thoughts on the show topic for today. But I'll skip to the end and tell you what happened. Hunter says this is the show because Nebraska 911 went down. Good morning, Hunter. Nebraska 911 went down yesterday. And some of South Dakota. I saw that Spectrum had huge outages yesterday. I wonder if they run on Spectrum or something, which would be kind of shady. No, this was on a show from 2001, or 2021. So imagine that. Just on the same day, coincidentally. I did not hear about the Nebraska and South Dakota 911s. All I did was hear about the mass internet outages in most of Texas for a while. If you had Spectrum in Texas, did you lose internet, Hunter? I know Aaron was posting it in the Telegram chat. Anyway, they get to the end and they drop the bomb. They're like everything is back functioning. They ran the 911 system out of that local firehouse there, and they used the old rotary phones. They used all the non-internet techie stuff, and they get to the end and the phone stopped ringing, and they're like, "Oh, what happened?" And they make an announcement that they had paid the ransomware and caught the hackers because they tracked the digital currency they paid them with that they requested and arrested them. And I was like, oh, here we go. We're going to start trashing on Bitcoin. That's about right. About 2021. So 2021, end of 21, 22 going in. Hunter says they paid in Doge. Maybe they paid in Doge. Like, what cyber terrorist is requesting Bitcoin anyway? Why aren't they requesting Monero or something private? I don't know, but I just found it funny. They're like, we tracked down the cyber hackers by tracking the digital currency we paid the ransomware with. I was like, oh, there's your buzzwords of the day. Jesus, ransomware, digital currency. We're gonna get people scared of this shit. Oh man. So I was thinking about that and some other things that I was going to set up the show, and I was like, you know what? I wish Jim was here. I didn't say that last night. I wish Jim was here now. But I was like, you know, I'm an old fucker. I don't feel it, but I'm in my mid 40s. Been around a while. And we've seen some shit. We've seen some shit change over the years. And so I was just thinking back and wanted to kind of roll back through and talk about some of the things that I've seen and maybe what you guys seen, the guys hanging out in the audience in the live stream, things you've seen develop and change in your lifetime. It really, the episode made me think of it because they have a bifurcation. They have the older crew there and then a bunch of young people at this point in the show. And so the young people were saying, we need to talk to the PG people, or PG or BG. I'm not sure. It was either pre-Google or before Google people. And I was like, Google. Do you guys remember when Google started? That wasn't that long ago. But it got me thinking about other things that I've kind of seen come and go, seen come and stick around over the years, technology wise and things like that. Because they used the rotary phones. They used walkie talkies instead of the cell phones and the dispatch system and all that. They ran it with maps and road atlases and whatever. What Canadian Farmstead says, I look forward to talking to post-Google people. When can we expect that? Is that going to be like is that going to be the main apocalypse coming up? Is like Google going to implode? Off-grid ping says, longest show ever if we talk about all this change. Yeah, I was just going to kind of go through different technologies and just chat about what's gone on. not necessarily policy or procedure or philosophy or anything like that. I'm talking like hard tech. And the thing that popped into my head was phones. Phones was the first thing. Was the first thing on the list that popped into my head when I started taking some notes when I was setting this up. And I said, you know, I remember when I was a kid, the phone being on the wall attached to the plate that the phone company put in. So, you know how you have your little phone jack in the wall? You can really, I mean, if you're handy at all, you can move them yourself and put a new one in. You can move it around. You got the little phone cord. I remember when I was a kid that it was a big standard phone on the wall with a metal plate that had the phone company stamp on it. And that phone hung right there. The cord was about, I mean, if you stretched it out, maybe 6 foot long, maybe. And that was there. I mean, that was where it was. It was in the kitchen. There it was. I remember moving on to getting a cordless phone. That was a big deal. That was a really, really big deal. Off-Grid Ping says, I miss my Walkman the most. Pre-RJax. K-Bong says about the phones. I remember getting that cordless phone. And I remember the battery life was shit. Like, I believe if you picked it up and you talked for any serious length of time, the thing would die. You had to get it back on the receiver. If you didn't put it back on the receiver, nobody could find it. Everybody was accustomed to the phone being where it was and wired to the wall. Yeah, that was a big upgrade, was that wireless phone. Then we kind of moved into cell phones. I think would have been the next big jump in telephone technology. And what a ride that has been, because, you know, I know they had the suitcase phones and the car phones and shit like that in the 80s. Pushing into the 90s, I think I was 18-ish, 19-ish when I got my first cell phone. So that would have been like 96, 97-ish. Verizon was the thing you got. I remember getting my phone and having to pay for a limited amount of text messages, a limited amount of daytime minutes, and you had peak and off peak. Like, you could call at night for cheaper or free nights and weekends. Text messages were very, very limited. You didn't text message anybody. You called them. That's what pagers. I never really got into pagers. Jamie says I forgot pagers. I never really got into pagers. It wasn't my deal. I was kind of in between on the pager time. It really wasn't a thing in my area that much. Like, I lived in a small town, so it wasn't that big a deal. I mean, I knew people that had them. It just wasn't a thing that much. Canadian Farmstead says, I remember almost finishing a 20 megabyte download and then someone picking up the phone to use it. Couldn't resume downloads in the early days. Oh, the call waiting and the disabling call waiting, or the constant busy signals when you're trying to call your friend's house and they were always on the internet. Yeah, that was a thing. That was a thing for sure. I remember when we got our second line for our internet and cleared all that problem up. Digger said, when I was 10, we moved to the country and had a party line. Nice. I remember seeing John Dowie was talking about even into the 80s and 90s in his area he grew up in, Western New York. They still had a few party lines. I think he looked up the number. It might have been 97 that they discontinued those. I can't remember what the date he said was exactly, but it was way later than I had imagined. And if you don't know what a party line is, basically they ran to just picture it. They ran the telephone line down the street, and everybody shared the same line. So if you wanted to make a call, you picked up the phone, and then somebody might be using it, and you could hear their conversation. It was like one big continuous phone line for all the houses on the block or the street or the cul-de-sac or wherever. Yeah. You want to talk about government spying on you? How about your neighbor's little sister spying on you by just picking up the phone and listening? Chris Dixon says, I was late to tech, never had an interest. Mobile phone was probably the biggest thing, starting with a bag phone that honked the horn when it rang. Says it would scare the piss out of you driving at night. K-Bong says he skipped pagers also. Off-Grid Pig says my first cell phone was a bag phone from Radio Shack in my 760T Volvo. Nice. Yeah, so move from the wall tied phone to the wireless phone to skip the pagers, went right to the cell phone in about 97-ish, somewhere in there. And just the way watching cell phones change, watching how, like I said, it used to be free at night, super expensive during peak times. Like they had peak times, they had free times, they had when they came out with unlimited text messages. Hunter says he can still speak pager code. I kind of remember it a little bit. I had enough friends that had them, and after the fact, I was just familiar with it. But and then moving into they started doing the data packages where they had data caps for a one price, and then unlimited packages and things like that. And watching the cell phones got I remember, so my first phone was like that flat Qualcomm phone. Qualcomm. It was basically Qualcomm, Motorola, and there was one other company, and I can't think of it, that made the phones for Verizon. But I had that Qualcomm phone. It was flat. It was probably big, maybe 6-7 inches. It fit in your back pocket. That was the same time that the Motorola, I believe they were called Starlink, like it was like a triangle, like a three-dimensional triangle, and it was a flip phone, but the bottom was just a piece of plastic that flipped down. It didn't do anything. It basically just covered the keypad, and everybody had their little belt clip that they clipped them into. I didn't do that route. I wanted more functional, be able to stick it in my fucking pocket, so I went with that Qualcomm flat phone. That was watching the phones get smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller, and then bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And I'm not sure at this point where we're going with that, because it seems like there's a split at this point. It seems like it went to, everybody was carrying not everybody, the newest craze was carrying that Star Trek. It's there, Jamie. Thanks for grabbing that. Star Trek was the Motorola little flip phone thing that had the crazy little antenna that you pulled out. It was like just a little piece of plastic, and everybody would like open up their phone and pull out the antenna like it did anything. It was just a fucking piece of plastic, not attached to anything. Good morning, Govin Gaming over on the vertical feed. How we doing? Thanks for stopping in. Smash that like and the subscribe if you would. I appreciate it. Yeah, so the I don't understand. I mean, why did we try to get as small as possible? We took the phones and got them small and small and small and small and small. And then people wanted them bigger and bigger. And is that because of what we were using them for? Is that because of the technology changing the purpose of the phone? When I got my phone, it was for calls and pretty much emergency calls. Hunter says it was because of porn. It could have been. Porn makes the world go round. I mean, it really does. If you think about it, it's one of the biggest industries on the internet. I mean, it is the biggest industry on the internet. But I remember when I got my phone, it was for calls only, and it was for emergency calls. Really, you paid by the minute. You paid by the minute for the package for the month. Like you got 400 minutes for X amount of dollars. They had overages. They had overage plans. They had rollover plans and stuff like that. His voice to text doesn't like the word porn. Weird. So I got a question for you guys over in the vertical feed. If you would answer me, what's the edit thing all about? And the car name thing and the different things for an edit. I'm new to vertical feed short feed over on YouTube, and what do you guys like using that for bullshit, or what is the deal with that? I mean, I got 738 episodes of my own that you can go comb through if you want fucking me saying stupid bullshit. I say it all the time. Every episode I say stupid bullshit all the time. I don't know why you need me to name a car. If you could explain that to me, I really could. I would appreciate it, and I probably would participate for you. But yeah, whatever. Sorry about that, guys. It's been in the vertical feed since I've started doing it. The request for this. Maybe somebody listening to the main feed knows what the fuck they're talking about either, but I don't know. Oh, Hunter says it's just for attention. Got it. Well, they got what they wanted. They got what I wanted. They got what I wanted. They got what they wanted. Anyway, watching that transition in phones from being your emergency thing, like you got to. He says you can go download an app and do edit in it. What do you do with the edit? Hunter says it's like the people being ignored on Nostr. I don't see anybody over on Nostr. It hasn't popped up in my nothing's been popped up in my feed. Are there people on Nostr right now, Hunter? Huh, that's a glitch if there is. Oh God. All right, get back to it. Anyway, the original use of the phones be used for just talk. I can't remember the first text message I sent. I remember counting characters. Because you only got so many text per month. And so many characters per text. And Hunter said he can still talk pager. There was a big overlap there at the beginning when you got your cell phone and you started texting. If you were trying to text instead of instead of talk, which wasn't really a thing. You would piss the people off that that you text because they didn't want to text back because they were probably going to be out of their limited text messages. So that kind of transitioned when they started doing unlimited data, unlimited text. Excuse me, data wasn't a thing. I remember getting my first cell phone and that I could navigate to, I believe it was Yahoo, to get an email, to check an email. I remember the first time I went and attempted to go to a website on my phone, and only a handful of the phones you could get, like from Verizon, would allow you to browse the web. And I can't remember which. It might have been a Razor brand phone. It wasn't the brand, that was the model. The Razor was a super thin phone, and I want to say that was the first time I went to a website on my phone. And it was very, very rudimentary because, I mean, the web, the internet and surfing the web was new in itself. Like, the web was just developing, and being through this, living through and being the age I was, going through this transformation, from landline phones to doing everything on a cell phone, was a wild ride. It was definitely a wild ride. Watching the internet develop, watching the phones develop, watching music develop. Music was another thing that I had on my list. I remember, like, Jamie says he misses his Walkman. I didn't ever have an 8-track. I think the thing I recall most when I was a kid, when it came to music, was tapes. Obviously vinyl survived the ages. It's in a revival right now. Vinyl is what it is. It's just fantastic. It's been around since long before any of us or our parents were here. Off-grid Ping says the Razor was from Motorola. And he thinks I was correct. And then the Blackberries. Oh, Blackberries. Does anybody recall having a PDA, a personal, what was it, a personal desktop assistant, or a PM? What the hell were those little Palm Pilots? Do you remember having to have a separate device that did everything your phone did now and less? It was like you had to have a phone, and then you had to have a Palm Pilot to run your calendar, and maybe have some mobile connectivity, maybe have a chance to jump on the internet or receive a text message or something, an email on your Palm Pilot. But it was a totally separate device, and it was like so short-lived. You had this spiral where it was super expensive to get one, and then it got stupid cheap to get them because somebody realized that we should put this together with a cell phone and it would be a lot better device. But yeah, the Palm Pilots, the personal BlackBerry assistants. I think BlackBerry might have been the first one that merged the Palm Pilot into the cell phone industry. Having the keyboard, the BlackBerry, the full keyboard on there, and my fat ass fingers couldn't type on those little buttons. I remember that shit. But back to music, I remember buying my first CD. I remember listening to my first CD. My first CD I listened to, I think, was U2, The Joshua Tree. I mean, it's a decent album. Just sticks out in my head because it was the first CD I saw. buying CDs. I've had a few. I think they're all gone. I think it was all gone, or all my CDs are gone. Tapes for a long time as a kid. Tapes and sorry, I was getting caught up on messages there. Tapes, Walkmans. Did anybody have the Sony Walkman, that the yellow one that was waterproof and shockproof? It was like, it's shockproof, so your tapes don't skip or something like that. Hanging Laundry, good morning. How we doing? Michelin Tire and Brooks Running Shoes ads. Not bad. Jamie says mixtapes. Yeah, making mixtapes. Recording music off the radio. Anybody in the audience do that? Old enough to do that? Anybody over in the vertical feed ever record music off the radio? I remember sitting around as a kid with a single tape deck, flat recorder, like the one with the handle. It was flat, it had the big buttons across, and you sat next to the radio speaker and you listened to the radio. And so the ideal time to do this was if it was like the weekly top 40, where you kind of knew they were going to play all the popular songs, and so you could sit there and listen to the top 40. And if you remembered, hey, Ellie, you're over on the vertical feed, how we doing? Hit that like and subscribe, I appreciate it. So you sit and you listen, and if you remembered the one before, you can kind of predict what songs were coming up. And you would wait for the DJ to stop talking, and then you hit record real quick, or you would record and then go back and edit it and record another song up to it. It was high tech, man. It was high tech. The cool part is when you got the Mike's Homestead nails it, says yup, then the 2 tape deck boom boxes for dubbing tapes. When you upgraded to the two tape decks that you could dub on, where you put you would put your blank tape in one side that had the record button, because they both didn't have a record button when I first started using this shit. And you put your tape you wanted to play and make the recording of in the other side, and you would have to hit all the buttons at once. Yeah. And then you would record one song and you'd stop, and then maybe you had a mic on it and you would record a little message to your sweetheart or your buddy, and you would then find another song. You put so many hours and hours and hours into recording mixtapes. Holy shit. Now it's just drag and drop. Oh, I go to iTunes. I like that song. Go to iTunes. You don't even know what the fucking name of the song is, and you just type in half the name and it pops up, and you pay 99 cents and download that shit. Speaking of downloading music, going through the LimeWire, the Napster era and LimeWire, downloading pirated music. Not that I ever did any of that. I would never download copyrighted material and pirate music or anything like that. Off-Grid Ping says, right, nothing like a good old boombox. The batteries, the D batteries. Oh, this boombox. Wonder why guys carried around on their shoulders. And everybody thought it was so they could listen to it, and it was like up on their ears. Except it was like 70 pounds because of all the D batteries in the fucking thing. And if you carried it around and just held it, your shoulder would dislocate. So you had to like hump that thing up onto your shoulder and carry it around like that. Otherwise, you'd get wrist tendonitis and shoulder issues. Digger says, recorded from the radio to the mono cassette deck, also recorded classmates. Yeah, doing interviews. Man, I thought I was going to be a DJ, a radio DJ for sure. Big fan of listening to the radio at night, like Dr. Demento. You guys ever recall Dr. Demento? It's where I learned of a lot of alternative artists, let's say. Canadian Farmstead says learning to fix the viruses from LimeWire. Learning to fix the viruses, learning to avoid the viruses, learning what looked at what kind of was the telltale sign of viruses. Canadian Farmstead had a mixtape recorded off the radio. It was cool. It was I don't want to say it was cool. Hanging Laundry remembers Dr. Demento. Weird Al Yankovic was on Dr. Demento all the time. We Might Be Giants was another another solid band that I picked up from Dr. Demento. Famous band names. What? I'm not sure what that means. Famous band name.exe. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Digger remembers Wolfman Jack on the radio. I miss that shit. I'm gonna say I miss what was the college radio station? K-Bonk was wondering. Can't tell you. I miss not having everything on demand. I miss listening to the radio when the radio wasn't clogged with the same revolving door of bullshit. Hanging Laundry said, I used to listen to the Grand Ole Opry. I believe Hanging Laundry is in Wisconsin. I used to listen to the Grand Ole Opry on AM at night all the way from Tennessee. Good AM reception at night. I remember driving before we had really decent, it was cassette in the car. Might have been a CD player with the tape that you slid in, but I remember driving at night and listening to like a baseball game on AM radio, and then all of a sudden you're listening to a different baseball game, and you didn't even notice the switch because the signals overlapped so crystal clear, and it was almost like it would go to commercial or a play would happen or something would happen, and then all of a sudden you're listening to a different game. You're like, wait, what happened? It's the same station. Listening to those, I guess it would have been the original mashup. You know how mashups now are like songs that they mix together and overlap and go back and forth and like that. Like the original mashup was listening to radio on the borders of the signal. So you'd be driving along and it would just fade in and out of different songs over top, back and forth, in and out. And you're like on that border and you're driving. You might be driving along it, not across it, and back and forth. Hanging Laundry says we waited to see Charlie Brown's Christmas all year for that one broadcast. I remember, do you guys remember TV that turned off at night? Not like turning the TV off, not turning the power off, but when they used to play the national anthem and the flag would wave and then it'd go to static. TV didn't run 24/7. The station would go off the air and then come back on in the morning. You remember when cable
Off-grid ping said either the static or the bars. Yeah, it would go to the color, the color. What was that fucking thing called? With all the vertical bars and then the horizontal bar at the bottom. Yeah. Do you know where your children are? Oh, that's that commercial from, it was like 10 o'clock at night, maybe 9 o'clock at night. I don't remember what. Good morning, John Palmer. How's it going? And he got a TikTok ad this morning. I remember that commercial. It came on at 9 o'clock or 10 o'clock. It was like, it's 10 o'clock. Do you know where your children are? 10 p.m. That's right, 10 p.m. Because that was curfew. My town's fire whistle would go off at 10 o'clock at night. One, woo, and that was like curfew. If you were a kid out after the bell went off, you were fucked. They were chasing you down. It was like the purge. Canadian Farm says, I'm from Canada. I'm sorry. We just got the color bars and a solid beep until they went to elevator music. Yeah. I mean, the solid beep, I don't know if that was better or the static. When it would go to static, it would just like, and then for like 6 hours straight. And if you fell asleep with the TV on, if you were lucky enough to have a TV in your bedroom, you fell asleep with it on, you'd wake up at like 3 a.m. and it's like, Hagen Laundry said that was the first sign of societal decline when they stopped asking where the children are, I think. Mike Sumsa said, yeah, vertical color stripes with a black bottom band for the off-air signal. I remember finding Cinemax on the TV dial, but when we didn't pay for it. And it was scrambled, and you'd go and you're a young lad with hormones raging, and you're watching the TV, and it's all garbled up, and then all of a sudden you'd see a nipple, and you're like, whoa. You couldn't wait to tell your friends the next day. You couldn't text them, you couldn't call them, you couldn't sneak downstairs and use the phone. And even if you called your friend's house, his parents would wake up and be like, why the fuck are you calling at 10 o'clock? K-Bong says dial TV. How about a dial TV? No remote. Hunter says that was a boob. Nah, that was an elbow. Calm down. Yeah, pretty much. The dial phones, the dial TVs, no remote. TV being more of a, you could get the TV / record player / liquor cabinet / kitchen table, dining room table. Other than that, Off-Grid Pink says he never did that on Skinemax. Yep. I know you. I see you. I see you all out there that are my age. These young kids that have had porn accessible on the internet from day one, they don't know the struggle. John Palmer says, I was the remote. I mean, I feel that. Consoles, TVs. Yeah. That's another technology that just kept getting smaller and smaller, but his wallet got bigger and bigger. All the TVs, remember the like 13-inch TV that was like the big bubble, and then the screen kept getting bigger, and the projection tubes kept getting deeper, and the cabinets kept getting bigger, and then all of a sudden they made the switch to the flat screen, and even the flat screen was like 12 inches wide, and it had that rear projection, and had to have that depth. And then it went to all the LED shit, and it just got skinnier and skinnier and skinnier while the screens got bigger and bigger and bigger. And I don't even know, I have this second monitor here for the vertical feed, and it's 15.9-inch screen. And if you don't know, screens are measured from corner to corner on the diagonal. And I want to say you probably can't get a TV that small anymore. I guess all the TVs are just like monitors. There's no difference. But yeah, it's been a wild ride. Why is my computer freezing? Why? I don't know. My laptop might be ready to fucking shit the bed, guys. I don't know what's going on. It's been acting funny. I have to I gotta look into that for sure. But another thing that was on my list here that's kind of developed over my lifetime was like video game consoles. What was your first video game? Off-Grid Ping says, remember the RBG projector TVs? Yeah, the size of a Mack truck and weighing a ton. When you needed to move a TV, it was like you needed to call your buddies. You would rather show up to move your friend's couch or gun safe than move his fucking TV if he had a big TV. Hagen Laundry says, so glad when I dragged my uncle's deluxe console Zenith TV with a solid wood case to the dump. Yeah, for sure. I remember getting good morning, Pickle Pete. How's it going? I remember getting playing video games on my mom's. So my mom was a teacher and on vacation. So if she had a week-long break from school or more, she would, and we begged her, she would bring home the Apple IIe. The Apple IIe computer. The one that had the base, that had the keyboard attached, and then the monitor was separate and it sat on it. And it was big and clunky, but I used to play like Oregon Trail. It had the green screen with the lighter green cursor. It was like a creamish green cursor and the typing, but you could load in Oregon Trail. K-Bonk says he missed the video games, pinball, video arcades. I remember going to Time Out. K-Bonk, you're from the area. The Arnott Mall. Did you ever hang out? Was Time Out at the Arnott Mall a thing at any point while you were in that area? I don't remember how long it had been there. I could take you to the place. I don't know if the mall is the same or if the mall is even there, but I remember you went up the stairs, the escalator, and it was right off to the left. Big arcade. I remember going to play the video games. Off-Grid Pick says Atari 800 was my first game console. Yeah, I had Atari. I rolled through the whole thing. Atari, Sega, regular Nintendo, Nintendo 64, Super Nintendo, PlayStations, all the shit. K-Bonk remembers Time Out at the Arnott Mall. Digger started with Pong and Asteroids. I think one of my favorite games on the Atari was called Pitfall Harry. If you guys remember Pitfall Harry, where you ran through the jungle and you had to like swing over the pits and over the crocodiles. That was on the 2600. Hunter still has his Atari 2600. But yeah, playing video games in the you still have the 2600. You probably get a sweet chunk of change for it if it works. I'll let you know that. The paddle controllers, when you would upgrade to the paddle controllers that had the button on the side and the dial, and then you had the stick controllers for the Atari that had the one orange button and the joystick. Yeah. Pickle Pete says he has a 2600 and Pitfall Harry. Oh, man. Hagen Laundry says I played Space Invaders once at a college bar in the early 80s. Did not grab me. Tabletop. Who remembers going to Pizza Hut and Pizza Hut having video games in the lobby? Was that a thing where you were from, or was that a local thing? Pickle Pete says Frogger. Yeah, I was a bomb at Frogger. They do Frogger, Pitfall Harry. There was Digger, Donkey Kong. Hunter says Miss Pac-Man at Pizza Hut. Yeah, ours was Pac-Man. We had Pac-Man and Space Invaders. But you'd go to Pizza Hut and you had to wait for a table because there was no delivery. That was like before pizza delivery. No one had a pizza delivered. You called and went and picked it up. I remember when we finally got my parents to transition to delivery. They refused. Even when we used to have to charge, they charged for delivery, and I got it. Like, we could go pick it up at that point. And then they went to free delivery, and they still resisted. And I'm guessing it was because you had to tip the driver, or you felt like you did. Hunter says, I think I still have a Pizza Hut red plastic cup. Yeah. We used to go there for lunch buffet in high school. When you were a senior in high school, if you had decent grades, you could leave for lunch. And we would go to like McDonald's every day. And then one day a week, we'd all go to Pizza Hut for their all you could eat lunch buffet. Oh shit. K-Bonk brings one up. K-Bonk, was Lums a local thing? Because I feel like it was closed before I left the area, and I never knew if that was a regional thing, if that was a local thing, or a national thing. Does anybody else know of Lum's restaurant? They had K-Bonk says they're German hot dogs. I don't know either. I had eaten there a few times across from the mall. It must have been local. We used to sit and eat that Pizza Hut lunch buffet, man. A bunch of high school kids, a bunch of high school seniors, usually a large pile of guys just piling pizza down their throat. Hanging Laundry says Lums was a franchise. Oh, okay. There you go. Anybody go to Friendly's? Is that still open? Friendly's, where you would go get mediocre food and then get an ice cream at the end. Friendly's restaurants. I think they transitioned into another type of restaurant. What else? What else does it takes you back to when you were a kid? I don't even know how the age, like, you guys all must be similar within a close range in age of me. If you're remembering this shit and you're bringing up the stuff that I'm remembering, but yeah, it's been a ride, guys, for sure. Dairy Queen's still around. That is a huge Minnesota deal. Dairy Queens are everywhere. Every small town has one. For sure. I remember going in, I remember the old ice cream shops. I enjoyed those where you went and got hard ice cream, not soft serve, but hard, different flavors of hard ice cream. Mike Homestead says had him in Connecticut. That's CT's Connecticut. Yep, I know my states. Pickle P says Gerald ice cream in Detroit. Never heard of that. Farrell's, I don't know of that. Yeah. John Palmer says, I like it hard. Oh, I definitely like it hard better than soft, for sure. There you go, Jim. I can't believe Jim missed the old man episode. I can't believe. I mean, he would have probably been out of place. He would have been like, do you guys remember when Jesus did this? Off-grid ping says Baskin Robbins was the jam. I don't think I've ever actually been to a Baskin Robbins. John Palmer says Brahms. Oh boy. What's up, Jackson Wittenberg? How we doing? Thanks for stopping in over on that vertical feed. How about you smash that thumbs up and hit a subscribe? I appreciate that for sure. I don't remember Brahms. I don't know what that is. I don't know what that is. Oh, what else was on my list? The safety. Oh, safety evolution. We don't have time for this. We might be able to just touch the tip of it. If you guys just want to touch the tip, you want to play just the tip. Who rode in a car seat when they were a kid? John Palmer says it's an Oklahoma thing. That Brahms. Okay, gotcha. Who rode in a car seat when they were a kid? I don't think I did. I remember a story my mom telling me about riding in the back seat of a car, and I was a little kid, and my great grandmother was sitting next to me, and I just opened the door, going like 30 or 40 down Main Street in town, and my great grandma snagged me and kept me from just rolling out of the car. And can you imagine that happening today? They got these kids buckled up in these car seats, and they have them in booster seats until they're like 14. I'm pretty sure kids now have to sit in booster seats or car seats until they get their driver's license. I remember my kid when he was a young lad, and they kept changing the standards of when the kids could get out of the fucking booster seats. And I'm like, you know what? If it wasn't for my great grandma, I'd take a digger right out of the car at 40. I'm pretty sure the 9-year-old kid that's a big enough to hold his own doesn't need a booster seat. Mike Soames says still see Brahms when traveling. Pickle P says we ride in the back window. Oh, ride in the back of the station wagon. I remember my parents took me on vacation when I don't remember. They told me they took me on vacation when I was a little kid, a big long road trip down to the beach, and they just put me in the back of the station wagon. They made it like a playpen. Car seats. What the fuck are car seats? Hunter says he doesn't remember the law, but he thinks it's 100 pounds or 4'8". I know people adults that aren't 4'8". How does that work? Hagen Lauder says Country Squire station wagons flying down the highway with 6 kids playing in the back. Our mother at least buckled us in on the highway. K-Box says lap seatbelts, optional lap seatbelts. I remember being in the transition where the cop had to like be there and go, well, I know you don't have your shoulder belt or your seatbelt on. What year was this car made? Because I know you don't have to have them in cars before the years they were installed in them. Off-Grid Ping says driving to the beach with 12 kids in the bed of a truck. Right? Even into high school, we used to ride in the back of a pickup truck around, and that was in the 90s. No problem. Nobody gave a shit. Oh man, they've made us a world of pussies. They really have just made the world a bunch of pussies. And but we've saved lives. But have you saved the right lives? I saw a meme the other day. I think Chris Dixon posted this. Says I think it's high past time to remove all the warning labels off of shit and let the things play out the way they should. Did we save the right lives? Every live's important, Brian. Not if you have to protect them from doing dumb shit for the rest of their life. If you can do dumb shit and survive it, like the majority of us did, maybe you're built a little different. They talk about Gen X and how they're different. Maybe it's because we survived it with no warning labels, with no safety gear, no internet. Thank God, no cameras. Jamie says if you have to tell them to not eat Tide Pods, just let it go. That was minor. Like I remember figuring out that you could use chlorine, pool shock, and DOT 3 brake fluid to make a fucking bomb when I was a kid. I probably just got kicked off of YouTube for saying the B word. I remember learning that and going, well, I don't think I'm going to stand next to this when it goes off. John Palmer. So this is evolution right here at work. John Palmer says, kids that eat marbles don't grow up to have kids that eat marbles. Let that sink in for the rest of the day, guys. I got to get out of here. It's 11 after. This has been fun. We should do this more often, just bullshitting about old times, since we're all a bunch of old timers up here at 6 in the morning drinking coffee, bullshitting. Hey, Digger retired. He's got nothing to do for the rest of the day. Hey, man, I hope that's going well for you. All right, well, let's wrap it up. Guys, if you enjoyed that show, you can always hit the like and subscribe and share it with a friend. If you had some good memories today and you got a friend or a spouse or a coworker or somebody that's kind of in that same age group and you want to send them down memory lane, hit that share. Share the audio, share the video, share the YouTube channel. Yeah, I would appreciate that. Other than that, you can find me on Podverse or Fountain.fm or over on Zap.stream. Sign up for Noster. Find out what Noster is all about. You can head on over to the YouTube channel. I believe the sign up sheet for Noster, the sign up video. Yes. The Noster onboarding video is in the video description and the audio description. Click on that. Join us over on Noster and see what it's all about. Get out of the stupid ass Facebook and Instagram and TikTok algorithms and shit like that. Join us on Noster where you control what you want to see. But with that comes great responsibility of controlling what you see. You can hit me at thelotsproject.com or comfreeroots.com for all my information, links, partner companies, discount codes, affiliates, all sorts of recommended products, or pick up your Comfrey Roots direct from the source at comfreeroots.com. I appreciate everybody listening. I hope you have a fantastic hump day, and we will catch up with you tomorrow.